Good morning. I'm Patty, and this is Live Your Ideal Life. Today, we're going to do a little bit of a perspective shift. A perspective shift surrounding abundance. And abundance includes money, love, health, or whatever it would make you feel abundant. All things are added to life based on certain states of mind. What you imagine yourself to be in relation to, and then you can just fill in the blanks. Money, success, relationships, love, friends, health, happiness, whatever it happens to be. I want you to shift your perspective around chasing of those things and shift it to receiving what you want. And this will allow you to go into a higher degree of faith and devotion to your vision. A shift to having a deeper level of conviction that what you want to see brought forth into your life, that it will be delivered to you based on a state of mind of what we experience. So, how do you feel when you experience it? The level of conviction, that level of confidence. Neville Goddard refers to that feeling as if it's already done. And then on your day-to-day journey, you are just fulfilling the realization of this experience that's already done. People who you meet, people you already have access to right now, they'll become a source of inspiration and connections for you to achieve what it is that you want. You're also going to find you're going to have more confidence. You're going to have more confidence to reach out to others that you might not have reached out to before because of this new level of conviction that you have. The recognition of the value that you have, the value of who you are, aligning with the perspective of your natural deservedness, your experience, your expertise, your ability of all of the value in those. And you're going to find yourself making offers for that value. You'll find yourself making connections and creating products and services and building trust and connections, having a deep rapport with people who will be attracted to you. You're going to find yourself listening more and connected, realizing that people, environment, circumstances, and information, they're all in harmony and contributing to this vision that you have. And from this perspective of faith, you're also going to identify your limiting beliefs, your doubts, your indecisions, and you're going to move past them to have a higher degree of abundance, whatever that abundance looks like for you. And as a result of what facilitates that abundance based on that belief, if your abundance includes money or wealth, there's many ways of creating wealth. You can be an entrepreneur or have a career. You could find that money just shows up from really unexpected sources. So let's discuss this. You may have a belief that money is power. So let's reassociate that to the principle that power is within you. When you recognize that what you want wants you back, or what you imagines you, then that perspective shifts into faith or confidence. Think of someone who has a high amount of confidence, a high degree of confidence. They have a high degree or a conviction that what they want, that somehow it will happen. They don't question because they have no need to question. It's pure confidence or certainty of that outcome. But if a person thinks that they need to chase something, then they are actually in a state of mind that they don't have it. This might not initially make sense to you because on one hand, looking in my bank account and I don't have the money. Or maybe you're looking at your love life and you haven't found it yet. So what do I mean by have it right now? When I look with my five senses, my five senses deny that I have it. It denies that assumption. But we want to recognize that the five sense interpretation is where we're assigning the power then. So someone who has a high degree of faith, they look at it and say, this circumstance is changing, and as a result, they bring themselves to a high degree of faith. And from this place, they can identify the opportunities, or some way, somehow, certain circumstances bring us to the changes needed to fulfill our vision of abundance. You can raise yourself beyond limiting beliefs and align more and more each day with faith. If you look back through your life, if you look at experiences you've had in your life, there are times when you've been able to produce success in many areas. And this was without knowing how it was possible. I know I've had several experiences like this. And the cause of that was a certain level of confidence. That confidence comes from a certain concept of self, a high degree of confidence-based self-image. And we all know that that starts with you. So what's the interpretation that we have in how we relate to abundance in any area of our life? We are unlearning a lot of things in order to align with our true self, which is committed towards our vision, has a fidelity towards the vision. Think of a baby and you can see this. They're very loyal to their vision, with curiosity, assurance, confidence. They want something and they go after it. They know they deserve it. They want it and they expect it. But as this baby goes through experiences, their day-to-day journey, and their interactions with other people, they're trusting others to guide them towards their true self based on the original identity, which is the true self. That one of deservedness, that one that lives in abundance. But the experiences that they have and the interpretation of those experiences that they adopted from others or that they gave to themselves, they can form programming that's disempowering. Maybe they wanted to become a certain thing, maybe an entrepreneur, or maybe a pro athlete, or whatever it was that they were discouraged or told they weren't able to do it. Or that's not for you, or you don't have what it takes, or where do you think the money's going to come from? Any of those things. And because at that time they may not have enough experience to reference back to question those beliefs, and they trust what this person is saying. The result is that they form a self-image. And as this self-image is formed, it creates circumstances, experiences, situations that further affirm itself to a point where, at a certain stage, they begin to question what they really believe. Because there's a part of them, which is always there, which is the true self, the original identity. And that's seeking to live and express and mold our life as a reflection of itself, the real self, the part of us that starts to wake up and we recognize that these beliefs that we had in relation to where we want to be are not accurate, they're not true. And we need to rise above these limiting doubt-based attitudes of mind surrounding what we want, and everything will start to change. The abundance will show up. The abundance in whatever area of your life that you're looking for abundance. Henry Harris Brown, in his book, he talks about the law of supply. And he says, the law is simple, and it is laid down by the greatest political economist as well as the greatest mental scientist the world has in its historic records. His name was Jesus. He gave the law thus: seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things shall be added unto you. He says when we analyze this law, kingdom of God is where? It's within you. So live in accordance with your sense of right. Obey your own conscience. Then all things shall be yours. Things of all kinds. They're all manifestations of this one substance, all things, including yourself, are manifestations of the one God. Money or dollars are things, and they're manifestations of God. Love is of God. Health is of God. Whatever abundance you're seeking, it's all this one substance, whatever abundance you're seeking. So everything you're experiencing with your five senses, it's subject to our own interpretation from within us. Now, as we discussed, the interpretation formed from past experiences or interpretations from others that we accepted as true, we have the power to question those, especially if we aren't recognizing our value. We already have the value within us. So when you find yourself in a situation, either in creating maybe a loving relationship or finding love, or in financial abundance or happiness, because of this way of thinking that's related to our concept of self, we're unable to feel our value. We're unable to ask for what we want. So change your attitude towards what you want. Don't seek it. See it mentally already as yours and let it come. Change to a deserving of the best mentally, either through affirmations or your environment, your self-talk. Do this to the point where you become associated so deeply with the belief, and you start to observe this as you change, and you start to relate with others as you change, and everything around you is going to change. How you relate to money is going to change. There's no difference in someone who's earning $1 million and someone who's earning minimum wage. There's no difference between someone who's in a loving, committed relationship and someone who just seems to be dating everybody who's not good for them or not dating at all. There's no difference between somebody who's living in beautiful surroundings and someone who's living in a place that they just really don't like. The only difference is the one person's belief of what they deserve. If you think you deserve to earn $1 million a year, you're going to take action expecting that $1 million a year. If you don't expect it, you're not going to do what it takes. If you have a belief that the actions you take are going to produce the results that you want, you just know they are, you will take the actions. If you don't believe that it will ever happen for you, you will not take the actions that produce the results that you want. Another way is to maintain faith in the vision. So how? Well, recognize that the conscious mind can become overly critical in expressing certain kinds of ideas in our interpretation of abundance that we can call disempowering. But the subconscious mind takes the impressions from either conscious use of mind or the impressions of the interpretations, such as the child from earlier experiences, and believes them to be true, and re-expresses the results of these interpretations as life experience. So what we can then do is bypass this overly conscious mind. And Neville Goddard calls this the state akin to sleep, or maintaining a flow-based state of mind. Lightheartedness, where there's a lighthearted, more at ease or relaxed state of mind. You're more suggestible then. So then you want to make sure that during that time that you're allowing empowering information that's in alignment with abundance, allowing it to saturate this subconscious mind. And as it saturates the subconscious mind, what ends up happening is you start to observe that your self-image starts to change. As it saturates the subconscious, and what you want to keep in consideration is we want to bring ourselves back to the original identity. It's sometimes referred to as becoming childlike again. That's not being childish, it's referring back to the original identity, the true self, and live from that perspective and affirming the vision through meditation, or something similar to that, which is bypassing the overly thinking mental chatter-based mind, the conscious mind. But the conscious mind is there to guard or direct our thoughts, so we don't want to think down upon the conscious mind. We also want to recognize when we become too identified with what we call arrogance or egotism, which is not a form of confidence or conviction or loyalty or anything to this vision. It's a form of trying to hold on to certain beliefs, and it's found in the tension that we hold. So if we're feeling unnecessary tension or anxiety on the journey towards the realization of this vision, we're talking about your concept of abundance in this instance, we find ourselves making things unnecessarily complex, both in our thinking and in our behaviors, and in how we go along in our day-to-day journey. So then we go back and we ask ourselves, why am I doing this? Well, one of the reasons is we feel lack or scarcity. But when we recognize that that's the state of mind, and that all things are added from that state of mind, then all things shall be yours. Things of whatever kind, things of all kinds are manifestations of one substance. When we evaluate that, we realize that all of this is being externalized from the source within. So we change the concept of ourself, and that's through changing our interpretation in relation to our object of desire. So rather than saying, I want the money, we say, the money wants me. Rather than saying, I want to be loved, we may say, I am lovable and loved. I deserve to be loved. And we affirm it in many different ways. This is from the book Dollars Want Me by Henry Harris Brown. He says, I affirm that there is but one power, one mind. Everyone is you pushed out. It's awareness pushed out. We're all individual expressions of the same mind, one mind. The beginning of our journey is the conception of the idea, the vision, or your desire, your idea of what an abundant life brought forth would look like. And we experience interpretation on this journey, and looking at our beliefs as they play out. And when we become aware of a disempowering belief, say, why is this a belief that I'm still holding? Why am I holding on to this? And then changing it. And knowing the power of affirmation or self-talk and how it has the ability to impress the subconscious, we work with it. No different than if you were to listen to the same audio again and again and again, or consume the same information again and again and again. Your concept of the self, your self-image, it would change. So you want to identify with information that says that all things are added from the one state of mind, the concept of self, and the recognition that if you feel like you have to chase something, that you're not fully believing that it's of you, and that can result in unnecessary or force-based behavior. And so he states in his book, I affirm that there is one power, one mind. All phenomena are but a manifestation of that one. The self-conscious manifestation of that mind, man, because he is self-conscious, he has the power to command obedience from all that is not self-conscious, to command all that is not himself. So abundance is a part of all, and also being a creation of human thought is subject to human will. So by changing the relationship that we have with abundance, which is essentially changing the concept of self, we become different in relation to abundance. We feel as if we deserve it. We expect it. We just know that it's ours. I'm Patty, and I'd like to thank you for your time. And if you enjoyed this video and feel it was valuable, give me a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share this with your friends. Thanks again. Bye till next time.